Well, the DBD 6th anniversary event slash chapter is coming around the corner soon, and the potential for it is really high, but again, it's got a lot riding on it. DBD's at a point where the game is kind of stale. I won't lie about it. You know, injecting a new chapter every 3 months kind of is like, oh, well, that's cool. Let's play that for a week. And then after that, just kind of just waiting for the next chapter to arrive. So, you know, the potential for this anniversary is huge. They could make huge strides. They can make very large strides into making the game a little bit better. And behavior, I gotta give credit to behavior where it's due. They actually have been making good changes lately. Reworked Haddonfield, and I think the map is actually really nice to look at. I really do enjoy the changes of it. A little bit of tweaking is needed, but that's with any map that is graphically reworked. And there are a couple bugs to iron out, but of course, it's just the P2B. Of course, that will be fixed. And the Ghostface and Legion changes, I think, are really good. They both have their own chase music, while Ghostface does kind of need his music to be toned down a little bit. I do think a lot of the things from the recent P2B are really good. However, it only feels like behavior is making these changes when they have to. They're only trying to change things for the better when they have to. Not that they want to, they have to. And I think that's mainly because more and more people are quitting the game. And, you know, we got to ask ourselves, why is it still going down? I think it's the lackluster appeal and just feel of the latest chapters. Ringu, cool chapter, again, but I don't think it was enough to draw that many new players in. Nemesis and the Resident Evil chapter was crazy high, but they kind of donked that up because it was kind of a mess of a chapter. It was very buggy and whatnot. They keep making good changes. Boilover got nerfed again. It was a little too powerful. I agree. I think the strafing needed to be toned down a little bit. Circle of Healing got nerfed again. I think these changes are good. But again, it's almost as if it's too little too late. It's to the point where when they actually make these good changes, nobody really cares anymore. It's like everybody's like, oh, okay, cool, they did that. They're finally making changes, at least doing tests and experiments to MMR, which is very good. But again, it feels like it's been kind of a while. They first implemented MMR permanently back in, I think, September last year, 2021. A large majority of the community did not want it. Many people were asking for them to revert it, and even in the previous MMR testing, when they didn't have it permanently, people also didn't like it. And there have been some very good days of these testing. I think the biggest issue I have with MMR, when I play Killer, it's kind of the same thing. I play against a lot of comp squads or sweat gamers. There seems to be a lot of meta. And again, meta isn't really the big issue. It's not the player's fault, really, for running the most strong stuff. The only way to change the meta is to either significantly nerf the strong perks now, significantly buff the weak perks, or just introduce really strong other perks. And in other games, the meta is changing quite a lot. And that's because of how many patches there are, how many nerfs, how many buffs there are. For example, League or Overwatch, a season would be, okay, this character is absolutely busted. Everybody's running that character. And the next season, it's dog water. It's complete trash. But in DBD, that doesn't seem to happen. The past couple of years, like, the meta has always been along the lines of DS, Dead Hard, Unbreakable, Adrenaline. Those perks over the last couple of years haven't really changed in strength. They've kind of always been the meta. I'd rather see the meta constantly change. I don't care if something becomes busted for a week. I don't care if something becomes useless for a week. Just, I like to see change. With the MMR changes, the MMR experimentation that they've been doing over the past couple of weeks, I personally think Day 3 was the best. I like Day 3 the most because the survivors I were going against were the usual. They were very good. The killers I were going against were of my skill level. They were actually beating me. They weren't falling for dumb stuff. And the survivors I was playing with, my teammates, weren't potatoes. They were actually helping the team, running the killer, doing gens. Like, it was an actually good day. And I think that's good. I think that's actually a good change. And I do hope that they get MMR working. I have a little bit more hope, but with the recent leaks as well, I don't know. I don't really know what to believe. I miss the whole tinfoil hat part of the community every time a new chapter is teased. and there's like strange images released on a bunch of the different DBD accounts, Bulbul, Russia, and the community would get together and just tinfoil hat the shit out of it. And I really enjoyed that. In the latest DBD player satisfaction survey, they even asked how we would feel about a new mode coming to DBD. That kind of gives me some hope, but at the same time, who knows? There was also a AT&T event recently. For those who don't know, there is a tournament for a lot of the larger streamers across YouTube and Twitch where they would compete in 5 games. One of the latter ones were Dead by Daylight. Surprisingly, I actually didn't think they would enter Dead by Daylight, this type of game, into a tournament. A lot of the players were playing Dead by Daylight for the first time, and Shroud, for one, he didn't really like the game.
I know a Dead by Daylight coach if you want one. I am never going to play this game again.
I thought you were talking about me.
I've logged a total of
I knew who you were
2
talking about when you
hours
said
before
Chainsaw Guy.
today.
He mentioned that he wasn't going to play the game afterwards, and that's understandable. But what I found funny was one of the first things that they said during them learning the game is, why isn't there a search bar? Where are all the graphics options? It is funny to me to see that all these very large streamers who are playing Dead by Daylight for the first time instantly pick up on what the rest of the community has been asking for years. I still prefer quality of life changes over content any day. Invest in more game modes. Invest in a workshop. I've seen more ideas for a workshop like other games like Overwatch as well, where you create your own game modes and it's open. It's a public server browser to people. And that would be an amazing feat of just involving the community in the game, and it would bring a lot of casual players back. They could also bring in a grind reduction like a blood point market, or just spending a certain amount of blood points to level up a perk instead of having to find it through the blood web. Pay for only what you want instead of 30 uncommon add-ons that you don't want. There are a lot of quality life changes that they could take, but they choose not to. Even something as small as a search bar or choosing your own loading screen or main menu lobby was too much for them, and they've shot down those ideas many times during the dev live streams. There have been leaks about what the killer could be. A lot of people are saying it's completely original. Observer is the killer, and his power is going into a locker and changing to all the other killer powers. And honestly, if that were the chapter, I think that would be sick. I personally, that would basically encourage players to learn every killer. So if you play the Observer, go into a locker, switch to a different power, then you can pick what power suits the situation. If that is the original chapter, I would not be disappointed with that. I'm just hoping that they go big or go home in this anniversary chapter. I really hope they completely stun us with what's going on. And I hope they're more self-aware in this dev live stream that they're going to bring in. I think it would be hilarious if Patrick came on in full hockey gear. Then that would show like, yeah, we can take a joke. We can be a little self-aware. Matthew Coate dealt with a pretty good job meme for years, didn't complain about it. And, you know, the community loves him for that. So I do think if they being self-aware goes a long way. I have hope for the anniversary chapter, but when they keep throwing out flop chapters or bad changes, it kind of diminishes. But let me know what you guys think, and I will see you on the next one.